Welcome to the Sports Arena, your front row ticket to the best in sports talk and entertainment. Great analysis, top name guests, and news you can use from the sports landscape. So take your seats, sit back, and relax, as you are now in the Sports Arena.
You know what you're capable of. Fix it.
And here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Wins. I'm like, all right, let's go. We get losses. I'm like, I need a minute. Let me collect myself.
What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson in for the Sports Arena, part of the Sideline Sports Network family. Do you like the adjustments I made to my office space here? You know, I had to show some love, especially because the gentleman that I'm bringing on I'm a huge fan of him and what he has done. As all y'all know, I'm a Sky fan for life, and it's mostly due in part to these two people behind me. One of the two I actually have the privilege of talking to right now. And again, I say so much about Coach Wade, but it is all real. He is the 2021 WNBA World Champion, General Manager, and Head Coach of the Chicago Sky. James Wade is back in the building. What's going on, Coach?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm great. Hey, man, it's always a blessing to have you on here. I'm glad to see you, and I know you a busy man, so I just want to jump into our conversation here tonight. Free agency has happened, and the Sky have made some moves. We've seen some departures. We've seen some additions to this team. I want to start the conversation, though, talking about the loss of a Stephanie Dolson, if you will. She's kind of going back home. You know, she re-signed with the New York Liberty. I kind of feel like she went and played for the enemy, though, because they brought in Sandy, who you just faced in the WNBA finals. And now Steph is like, I'm going to go play with Sandy in New York. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much that. I have a great relationship with Sandy, though, and she's good people. I think, Steph is going to help them out a lot. Hurts us that she's gone and that she's leaving. But I understand, she went around and visited the teams that she needed to, see, and she searched what the best fit was for her. These things happen in free agency. What we have to do is just try to find a way we can retool and, try to find a free agent that hopefully can replace her. I think it's going to be a difficult task, but we always try. We've had this situation before. When Cheyenne left, we had to find a suitable replacement, and I think we did okay. So this time around, I don't know. We'll see. But Steph, she was big for us. If it's a lot of plays that's going to go down. And in finals history, her plays that she made for us at the end of the game or in game 4 are going to be, that's plays that are remembered for us for a long time. I had the pleasure of working with her last week in Team USA camp, and we worked together like nothing's changed. But I have a deep appreciation for her, and I always want to see her do well. Just not against us, I guess. But I'm happy that she was able to find a team that she felt like she fit.
Yeah, and like you said, I think throughout the entire postseason, the impact that Steph Dolson brought, to the Sky, alongside Candace and Z, and then of course Sloot, Ali, Ka, and everybody else. It was great to see her transition, because for the 2 seasons of watching going from being in the bubble to actually playing with fans and everything, Steph really grew and matured, and yeah. I was very happy to see that she elevated herself. But I'm like you. What is it? I believe you're in New York on the 12th of June. I think you're playing them, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. But I agree with you. She was integral. But then again, let's talk about Diamond. Diamond is now with the Phoenix Mercury. And again, I feel like, what's everybody doing? Everybody just jumping to the landscape as one of my co-hosts on my show say, the landscape has definitely changed. And with Diamond now being in Phoenix, I had an opportunity to sit in on that call. And I asked her, I said, what was one of the key factors? And she said she saw a need that she could fill in Phoenix. And, in the back of my mind, I'm saying to myself, you're a pure athlete. And there were moments where, Coach Wade had asked you to really be that star player, and you had those games. So it's a little heartbreaking to see her in a different uniform. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I know it's tough. It's tough for us to see all of our players leave and go play somewhere else, especially when they've meant so much to our organization and our franchise. But this is this is what's created when you have cap space issues like everybody has. You can't, and when you have great players, people, they tend to come shopping in your refrigerator. And so that's just the way it goes. I think we had some choices to make. Players had some choices to make. We had a certain amount of money on our cap space that we could afford to give them, and it was up to them if they thought that it was worth it or not, or it was up to them if they thought that a better situation was a better situation. I understand Diamond. She wants to be in a situation where she wants to lead a franchise, or that's what I was told, and be probably a more integral piece than she would probably have desired, and I respect that. I always want players to push their limits. I think with us, she would have had a role that probably she wanted another, and I'm okay with that. We're okay. It's just we just have to make sure that our core is intact, and we can continue to push forward with who we have, and try to add complementary pieces around that. So that's what we're looking to do, and hopefully by the time free agency is finished, we'll have a team that's very complementary to each other and ready to do this thing again in 2022.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people, myself included, who are like, run it back. We want to see this, because just the energy that was there this entire season really spoke to everything that the Sky went through in 2021. Season wasn't that great, but you never quit on yourself. You never quit on the team, the resiliency. You and I have had conversations about that, just the impact of playing with this group of athletes and these women who stuck together and, ultimately got the job done. That's huge. So let's talk about some of those pieces that you did actually bring in. You have Emma, you also have Julie. Can you talk to me a little bit about their impact and how you feel they're going to fit into what I love to call the James Wade style of basketball?
I think if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, then having someone like Emma would be big for our organization. I think she's very underrated as far as what everybody sees and who she is and what she's meant to the game of basketball. Still very young in who she is, and already so accomplished, not only being a champion, but being a finals MVP. And I think for us, if everything goes the way it's supposed to, being able to sign, in 2 years, 3 finals MVPs, that's something that hasn't been done before in the history of the league. I think only Minnesota has played with finals MVPs on their roster, 3 finals MVPs on their roster from 2016 to 2018. We would be the first team to sign 3 outright just like that in consecutive years and actually play with them. So I think it something that boosts our ball club, and it's going to allow us to probably play at the highest level. And I haven't even mentioned the Vanderquigs yet. So, that's when you think about that, partnering those 3 players up with the Vanderquigs and all the other good pieces that we have on our roster. I think it sets us up for success.
Yeah. And that's, like you said earlier, the core nucleus, keeping them intact and really moving forward, adding those complementary pieces that are truly going to be assets to the team, I think is going to be huge. So, Go
Oh, I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Coach.
I just wanted to, and Julie, last time we saw her in 2020, she was the league, second in the league in assists behind Sloot, and shooting 47% from three, second in the league in 3-point percentage. So she has another dynamic and another dimension to our team, a player that can play point guard and off the ball as well, that can play with Sloot. Um, I think, we have the potential to be okay.
I think you're going to be better than okay. In case you can't see, wait, this picture behind me says a lot about what this team was able to do. But, we can talk, we can go down memory lane another time. Let me get your thoughts, Coach, on the new league that has formed, if you will, the Athletes Unlimited. So many times and for so long, these women have played in the WNBA and immediately gone overseas and played in the Euro Women's League and other leagues over there. And then when they're done with that league, they just turn around and come right back and start their next season in the WNBA. Well, now there is this new entity, if you will. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on, players staying in the States, but continually elevating their game through Athletes Unlimited.
I think it's big, for not only because they get to play in the States and it's a league that's complementary to the league that we have, to the WNBA, because they don't overlap in any way. But it's also big in the fact that it gives the players other responsibilities outside of just playing basketball. They have to prepare for the games. They have to organize practice. It's a league that really reinforces the idea of teamwork. And I think, they have the coaches there, but they don't really get involved in game planning or practicing and stuff like that. They're only there as a crush for them if they may need it. But I like that. And I like the fact that the players, after I've heard from coaches throughout our league that players have reached out to coaches and said, hey, I have a different appreciation for what you do. I have a different understanding for what you do. And it grows the players up a little bit more and to being more considerate of things that, that they really don't have a handle on. And I think all in all, like all the players in WNBA are very good people. But sometimes they aren't aware of what goes on in the coaches meetings and the idea that we have to be considerate of different personalities and how they complement each other and different egos and how, we're happy that players are competitive. We're happy that, players have to have egos to a certain degree to get to a certain place in their career. But to actually combine and mesh those egos together is actually it's work. It's work. And so for them to actually have to deal with those things is something that, I appreciate seeing them conquer and work through and try to get everybody on the same page. And therefore they can have a bigger understanding for the work that we do that's not just X's and O's. And the other part of it is they get to play. They get to play and they get to get up and down and play against other WNBA talent.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, it's continually honing their craft and elevating their game to that next level. And I'm sure they appreciate the fact that they don't have to travel,
Yeah, yeah,
back and forth, if you will. So, Coach, as always, it is great, but I do want to take a moment outside of basketball. And the last piece that I want to talk to you about, like I said, it's Black History Month, and we are, continually in a climate of change and in a time where more recognition, and it's still not enough, but at least there is some recognition that is being given to Black and brown people. And you being in the prominent position that you are in as the general manager, as the head coach of the WNBA World Champion 2021 Chicago Sky, I just wanted to talk to you about your continued success and how you always stay grounded and humbled, but also motivated to continually be a man who pushes and just opens doors for people.
Well, I think, a lot of it just comes from the way, my mom raised me, my family around me. It's you can go to a certain point, but you always see examples of people getting knocked off their, pegs because they start feeling themselves. And that fall from highs, it looks very painful. So I never want to be a part of that. So I don't put myself up there. And I think it's something that we all have to realize. My grandfather used to say, low is the road, just always hold your head down and just watch one step in front of the other. And so I just try to stay as humble and keep my head down and just keep working. And when it's time for me to speak, I speak on certain issues. But other than that, I don't see myself as anything special, or, I know that I'm a person. I never gloss over my mistakes. I know I make mistakes, and I try to hold myself accountable to those. Um, and that's just how I try to be. I'm never, no matter how many championships I win, I'm never going to, you know, feel like I'm better than anybody. But because I know sometimes the only thing that separates me from others is just opportunity. And I know that people that look like me don't always get the opportunity. So I just try to make it where people accept it. And maybe when it's another person that looks like me, they don't think that it's such a risk. And so I know that I always said it's not always about me. So I know that. And that's how I just try to that's how I try to live and be and coach and parent and do all the good stuff that I'm blessed to do. So
Conversations with you. But I want you to do me one favor, and then I'm going to let you go, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, like I said, this is General Manager, Head Coach, Chicago Sky. Be on the lookout for this season because I got the schedule. Matter of fact, I'm telling you right now, it's right here. They open up against the Sparks, and then you are going to see Steph early because she's going to be back in Wintrust on the 11th, and then
yeah,
your former head coach who you worked under, Cheryl. You're going to see her. And Sylvia Fowles, I'm telling you right now, I know they're playing with a lot of urgency this season because this is her last season. But the one thing I want to ask of you, Coach, if you could do this for me, and I'm going to give you the full screen, is I would like you to just kind of give a message to the young brothers and sisters out there this month, just the importance of, being our true, authentic selves, number one. And number two, always remembering that we are on that same playing field, even though sometimes we're held to a higher standard.
I think one of the most important messages that I have for the young generation of Black people is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to show who you are, because, like I said before, it's not about you. It's people out there that need you to speak up, that need you to be who you are, because they're exactly like you and they're looking for those voices that remind them of themselves. Because in society, those voices, those faces, those talents, those gifts aren't promoted. They aren't promoted because the people that promote, they don't identify with them, and they don't see them as we need to see them, and so they're not going to promote them because they don't look like them. So we need more and more of people that look like us to actually speak up and show their talents, and not be afraid to actually feel like they're on an island, because at the end of the day, you're going to realize that you're not on an island. You're actually in this big cosmic universe where people are going to identify you and appreciate you and love you and respect you and show you how much you're needed. And I just want you to use your voice and use everything you have, use your talents. And it's something that'll make our world a lot better.
I agree. I echo those same sentiments. But to hear it from someone like you, I have said this from the beginning, and I will continue to say it. The world definitely needs more James Wade in our life, and not just from a basketball standpoint, but just from a human being who is in a position, but still remembers, the impact that he wants to leave for everybody else, not just himself or his immediate. So, Coach, as always, it is a blessing to see you, and we'll definitely talk soon.
All right. Talk to you soon, my man. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you.